Hey everyone, Scott Sambucci here, founder CEO at Sales Qualia. And this morning on one of our weekly client calls, I had a client who was asking about the best way to convert leads from their trade show booth. And so I wanted to share a couple of the quick ideas here with you. And then at the end of this little video, I've got a handout, a way for you to get some help on how you can execute on your conference selling strategy. Okay, so the primary question is, look, we're setting up this booth. We're going to have hundreds of people coming through, and typically the process that most of us do is like, hey, let me show you my product, and then we beep their badge and then hope that down the road we can send them an email and do some follow-ups. And typically what ends up happening after the conference is nothing. And so what we want to do is have a really specific, there's some sun there, let me move this around. Beautiful day here, by the way, in Northern California. So what we want to do is have a very simple 3-step process in your booth that will bring in folks from, hey, I'm interested in what you guys do, to actually turning them into a real sales lead for you after the conference. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is pre-qualify. So even before we show anything in our booth, whether it's a 30-second demo or a handout or anything, we want to do some quick qualification. So ask a couple of really specific questions that will allow you to know whether or not this person is even a sales lead or not. Are they the right person? Are they in the right industry that you serve? And do they have a specific need? And so I have a couple of really quick questions I like to ask. One is, hey, what brings you to the conference? Secondly, I'll ask them specifically, how are you addressing insert problem that you solve? And then the third question I'll ask is, are you actively looking for a way to improve the way that you're handling insert problem? Okay, so that's kind of your, obviously in a qualification call, if you're on the phone with somebody, you'd like to ask a lot more, but if you're in a conference, things are fast and furious. If you can ask those 3 questions, that will at least help you understand exactly whether or not this is a person even deserves the short demo in your booth. Okay, so that's step number 1. Step number 2 is then showing a very, very short, the shorter the better, on your product demo, the shorter the better. So just key in on one really specific piece that would be most interesting and most relevant to that person, just to pique their interest. You sort of want to think of it as like, hey, I'm gonna open the cover and let you peek inside for a second and then close it up as quickly as possible, because that will then pique their interest to then want to do step 3, which is future pacing. And so this is the place where a lot of times teams that I see, even very, very experienced and very established teams, fall off, is they don't future pace. They don't book the next demo, the longer demo, right there at the booth. There's tons of really effective calendar apps out there. I use Calendly as one. And so what you want to do is right there, another tab on the computer screen is, look, it looks like, based on what you've seen, this could be a good fit for you all. What I'd suggest for us to do is book in a longer time over the next week or 2 to meet back, virtually or potentially in person, depending if it's local, where we can do a more extended product demo with you. So let's go ahead and book that time right now. Do you have your calendar? And of course they do, because they can whip out their phone and right there in the booth, book the meeting for the next demo. So those are the 3 steps that you want to do. 1, pre-qualify. 2, show as little as possible to pique the interest. And 3, book in the next meeting right there at the booth. Now there's lots of stuff that you have to do after you book in that meeting to make sure that people show up for your meeting, to make sure that you're doing the right needs analysis, to make sure that those larger demos go well. That's a whole nother conversation that I won't cover right now, but those are the 3 steps. If you just follow those 3 things, I think you'll drastically increase the conversions on your or at your trade show booths. Okay, so I promised you in the beginning of the video a little bit of help on this. So one of the things that I've done, conferences happen to be one of my favorite things to do. I just like going to conferences. I get a lot of energy from people that I meet, and I also have found them to be hugely effective if you do them right. And so I put together a handout which includes 90 tips and tricks to get the most out of your trade shows and conferences. So if you want a copy of that worksheet, 90 tips and tricks to get the most out of your conferences and trade shows, just type the word conference selling, the phrase conference selling, in the comment box down below. And by the way, I would love it if you'd share this video. If you're a salesperson or a startup CEO and other people are struggling with getting the most return on investment for their conferences, I'd love it if you could share this and like this video, and so that I can get this word out, this message out to other people. But in the meantime, If you want a copy of the 90 tips and tricks, just type the word conference selling down here in the comment and I will get a copy out to you. So that's it for now. Really excited to share this little bit with you, picking up where we left off last week with your conference selling strategy, and let me know how it goes. Look forward to hearing from you, and this is Scott Sambucci signing off.